Hey, Alvia, I fixed this without you, but here we are in the video. There's still some things going on with your single space, so I'm going to do Control A, and also your fonts. Your fonts were different. You're supposed to be using Times New Roman, and it should only be 12 point. Okay, so let's see what this is. Excellent. Oh, it looks pretty good, and then we'll fix the rest. So if you want to know if you successfully changed it, do Control A, that's everything, and make sure it's Times New Roman and 12 point. Something here is going a little weird, but we'll figure it out as we go along. Now the next thing, it looks like, at least in this top part, that your single space is not single, so let's go right click. Let's look at the paragraph. This should be 0, and this should be single, and I'm going to go OK. Alright, so those moved up. So I'll just put a space there, a space there, space above, and a space like so. And look at this. Now this should be right click paragraph. It should be a hanging indent, this 0.5. The spacing here should be 0, because you have some spacing set where it's before and after, and the line spacing for this is double space, and you'll see that moves it up. Since we have the hanging indent, we should be able to fix that like so. Now I'm going to need to look at this. So you're supposed to find a government document. I was hoping you wouldn't go back into PubMed. It doesn't look like you did. And let's look at what this is. So it looks like you found this piece. So I will go into here to see what it is. Is it something that's full text? It looks like it is. Do you see here? It says Cite. PubMed also has this on it in several other places. When you go down here to Format, select for APA. APA is what we're working on. This is going to be something to work on that's a little bit stronger than what you have put together. It's very important when you're using APA. The authors are first. Authors are last name, first and middle initials. The next thing in APA is the publication date. It's in parentheses, 2019. The next thing in your APA reference for magazine articles, journals, and newspapers is the title. And the title, nothing is capitalized except for the first word, a word that follows a colon, or a proper noun or noun phrase. This is correct. A journal name is in title case, so everything is capitalized except for prepositions, conjunctions, and articles. So this part is not correct, and you would have to capitalize the F, the M, the P, and the C. The 8, just like the journal name, is also italicized. This is the issue number, this is the beginning and ending page number, and this is the DOI. So in your paper, go to your page, copy this, fix the journal name capitalization, make sure it's double space and has a 0.5 hanging indent. I'm going to go in and look at the PDF to make sure the PDF is the full thing, and yes, it is. And it has the full names of the authors, who they're attached to, and all the other richness. That's a great find, but let's fix it up so we can figure out what it is when you use your APA. So when you go to this link, you're going to grab the citation and you're going to copy and correct it. So you see here how it's not the same type? You can correct this by highlighting it, turning it to Times New Roman, and turning it to 12. We're going to right click it to look at the paragraph. It is a 0.5 hanging indent, 0 after, or spacing after double, so that is perfecto. So we have the last names, first names of the authors. We know the thing that we want to fix is the journal name. Like so. And now it is beautiful and usable for your paper. So go to your link, snag the citation for APA, correct the journal name, and use that instead. So now let's look at the social media. The social media you chose is going to be Twitter, which is really X, and I apologize my link didn't work, so let's look at this. It looks really close, but it looks like the formatting got away. So let me put a space down. So I'm going to highlight what you did. I'm going to right click on paragraph. You have a hanging indent that's 0.5. I'm going to get rid of this because this is messing you up. The spacing should be 0 and 0, and it is double spaced. And now it looks correct. When something squidges over like that, when you have your hanging indent set, just do delete and it lines up. So now you found this and you found this, but you're missing the at, with the little at in there. We have the publication date, our new is. It's hard for me to figure out what happened. Let's see. Paragraph, hanging indent, double. I think it has to do with this. I'm going to take you through all the suffering. Yes. Usually delete will do it. So this is beautifully done. We have a link attached. I need to make sure there's quotations in your piece. Okay, I had to actually look at your link on my phone because I can't get to X on campus. So what you're missing here is the at part, which is at NLM _ NIH. Make sure you use the real tweet. I put it over in your piece and not this, because this is not how it should appear. Oh, here. This, instead of this, have the real tweet. I mean, the real tweet. As you can see, I can't get to that there. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. It's doing terrible things to my computer. Make sure this is an actual link, not an explanation of the link, because that isn't how the social media piece looks. So let's look at what that looks like. So Twitter is now actually X, and I did send that information, and I'll show you how to correct it. I had to send it because this is still not correct. But you'll see the there's the username and then the user address in the square quotes. You're missing this piece right here. Then you have the date correct, you have this correct, but there are not quotations. Unless there's quotations within those 20 words. Then you will have these pieces you got right, but now this is post, now this is X, and make sure your URLs look like URLs. And so I'm going to ask you to return this in because I want to see that you're working on your spacing and that you understand the font and the font size. The font should be Times New Roman or Arial, never both, only one. And the size on your paper should only be 12 point, only 12 throughout the whole page. When you make some changes, because you can see here, I'm not sure if this is Arial, but you're going to make sure that you go into Word. Your Word has a problem. You might want to check and see if you can set a new default for yourself so your single space is a real single space, and it also messed up some of your double spaces, so I showed you this on the video. So I'm going to ask you to return this in because I want to make sure that you can actually copy and paste a link that's a real link and just not the explanation of a link. But everything is good. Your publication, your information, your social media piece you found, your research section is strong, your annotations section is strong, your APA needs a tune-up, your Word document needs its default set so you actually have a single space. So make these changes. I'm going to do a checklist over here, and I think once you go through this, the rest of your paper should be fine. If you get behind, make sure you do your changes and updates first before you move on, because if you move on, then you're just going to be bringing this bad, these single space that's not the single space and other issues into the next piece, and let's solve them and then move on. You won't lose points for this. Not at all. And I want you to be where you're not going to lose points for anything in other classes as well. Anyway, if you have questions, you know where I'm at.